Must it be that coming into the orbit of thought means at the same time leaving the orbit of reason, so that reason is like a shuttered and unrepairable house, um, whereas by analog we can say the Platonic Socrates is always seeking the aristos of an idea. So, for instance, DK or justice, he seeks the best aristos idea, the aristos telos of that idea. He seeks the best sense of what that idea, why that idea is. DK or justice is that which makes the citizen better or improves the citizen, for example. He doesn't go to the idea. He goes to this qualified thing, the telos or the why of the idea. Thinking then would be like the idea. What is thinking? We don't know. Um, is it given to us to come into this orbit or not? Um, Whereas, like reason is the aristos idea, the aristos telos of an idea. Reason is like the good. It's like the being of the eternally persistent thing, which the Catholics interpret under the guise of perfection as infinitely perfect and eternally persistent. Um, so, in connection to this idea of the event or Ereignis, I have the um, following reflection is some analogs of that which uh, show a specific thinking of event. Which is event is something whereby one doesn't change, but something else changes, which then uh, constitutes a change. So, for instance, that there's a property with a good view, and then somebody in an adjacent property, excuse me, puts up a barrier of some kind, and then without anything changing in that property, it ceases to be a property with a good view, a house with a view of the water, let's say. Again, so that a new law would come, so that the law tables would change. For instance, that the New Testament comes and says the laws of Moses are no longer valid. A new law has come, the law of the heart, which we could say the Sacred Heart is like the infinite perfection, and then Leos Ressus here. And I don't quite understand this question of the difference between the horizon of completion and the horizon of perfection, but it seems to go the horizon of completion goes with the Greeks, and the horizon of perfection goes with Catholic Christianity, and it corresponds with the move from into the New Testament with the new law that Christ has set aside, the Mosaic law, which perhaps then was merely complete for the infinitely perfect law of to love one another. Uh, this love, in the highest sense, of course, points to conforming with agathon or the good, or I think we could say just as well with reason or rationality. But that's somewhat questionable because reason or rationality may have to uh, uh, give way to reality, as it were, as the philosophers let it do, rather than be the higher notion that this thou canst, thou oughtst because thou canst, that everything is possible because the fact that something hasn't happened up till now is no barrier. The Kantian notion, empiricism is no barrier to ultimate perfection because everything can be, we can set ourselves upon the problem, and we have, as it were, as long as we need to figure it out, and finally we should get there if there is an answer. Um, Another example, so in the Theaetetus, the example was given of height, so that somebody would be a certain height, say five, let's say 5'5", and then there's a young person, they grow taller, and so without changing their height, they've changed from being taller than somebody to being shorter than somebody. Nothing's changed. This is a kind of event. So how does event, would it work on Dawson itself in the larger picture, outside where we can see this inside outside of a discrete object as against another uh, object, as in the house example? Um, I think that's one way to find an avenue to accompany one in reflecting on what Heidegger says about this possibility of making this leap, as it were, in Kierkegaardian terms, from one world to another one, or from one history of being to whatever else it would be.